Riverside.
Tim, I have my new Indiana Rose Bowl hat on. I've got my pin. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to record. I'm tired. I'm like, we'll talk about the Pasadena experience after we talk about the game, but I walked probably 20,000 steps yesterday, and 18,000 of those steps were in the mud. So it's like, it's one of those that I'm like, I'm ready to talk about the game and get ready and get those juices flowing. And hopefully at some point, my wife, who is being very understandable, me recording this podcast early, hands me a cup of coffee across the screen so I can really start
Listen,
going.
you've got the, all-time memorabilia, the great merch. Me and the other Hoosiers that were stuck behind Indiana, we just got our Ricola throat lozenge because all I was doing was yelling, "Run the damn ball!" in the first quarter, hoping that Signetti would hear me from Indianapolis. It was all I had to do. So a little bit different in terms of takeaways from the game. You've got, incredible memories and merch. I've got throat lozenges to soothe my voice.
It sounds pretty good. I mean, wherever you were, what an experience. But hopefully you're experiencing this podcast because this is the Kirkwood and Dunn podcast. My name is Trent.
I'm Tim.
And we are ready to recap the Rose Bowl game, the granddaddy of them all, which I realized the other day that we hadn't even said that.
Yeah.
And guess what? Our first bowl win since the early 90s. The only team ever in the history of the 12-team college football playoff to win off a bye. First time ever. We're 1-0 against Alabama. Alabama's never beaten us.
Fact.
I don't know. Tim, I don't know what other facts you want me to drop to start.
I'll give another fact. This is another quick fact. If you're a Kirkwood and Dunn listener who may be having this podcast on any sort of public speaker setting, to stop that right now. If there are children around, stop that because pause. Now we're back. This was a belt to ass whooping by the Hoosiers. We fucking told you 35-10, 38-13. We kicked their ass 38-3. What a fucking belt to ass by the Hoosiers. I'm over the moon about this. We saw it coming. Ball Knower podcast, you and I. This is basically the game that we saw coming. But it's still fantastic to see it actually happen. And to take that last little bit of shred for the fucking Josh Pates of the world, the Brandon Walkers of the world, maybe I'll pick Alabama to win outright. Those people who wanted to deny Curt Cignetti and the entire team. No, this is like bar none now, full respect. Everybody understands it. The Indiana Hoosiers are the best team in college football and are set up for an incredible amount of success going forward. It was a great game. There's so much about this team that I love. I want statues for everybody. Like by the time they get back from Pasadena, those statues better be up. I was over the moon, honestly, yesterday. What was it like at the stadium? When you got to witness the coronation.
Well, I mean, we were surrounded by Indiana fans. Like there were in our whole section, I think there was 2 Alabama fans at a neutral site game, right? And we were lucky enough to get out of the elements. We did have club seats, so we were like we were in the kind of buffet area or whatever, and we were just sitting there drinking coffee, talking, watching the Oregon Texas Tech game, and all of a sudden there was a couple of Alabama fans there on the table next to us, and I hear them on FaceTiming because people who publicly FaceTime drive me crazy. And they're loud as hell, and I just hear them telling whoever they're on the other side that they're surrounded by Indiana fans. Like they're like annoyed and disgusted that they're surrounded by Indiana fans. That was the energy throughout the whole thing. Like it was just one big party. At the start of the game, so like you said it in that rant there, like we we tried to tell everybody all week. We tried to tell you.
Right.
Indiana was going to not only beat Alabama, but they were going to crush Alabama. And I'm sorry, those that don't believe in math or those who say games aren't played on paper. This one was played exactly on paper. And honestly, you know what? It's right to doubt math because Indiana beat them by more than what the math said was going to happen because there is a human element to the game. And that human element absolutely broke Alabama in that game. Like their will
Yeah.
was broken. Like it was it again, how many times all week I got you're putting out clips from the Illinois game. Well, brother, you're
Brother.
way closer to Illinois than you are Ohio State in
Uh-huh.
that game. Yeah.
I thought, when Alabama early on actually really not just did the okey doke, really decided to go for it on 4th down in their own territory. Kalen DeBoer knew. He knew. He
Yep.
knew what it was gonna have to take to, like, win that game, and that should have been Alabama fans. If you wanna, like, what was the canary in the coal mine? Right there. That was it.
Yeah.
It's always one thing when coaches are do the, like, "Oh, let's do the draw 'em off sides," and, "Ooh, we forced them to call a timeout, so great on us." Like, what no, no,
Yeah.
no. Then when they came right back out and were like, "No, no, we're still running the jet sweep play, whatever," that's when you should have known that Alabama knew they had an extremely uphill battle to climb, and they couldn't do it. Couldn't do it at all.
My wife was sitting next to me and she goes, "Why are they trying to why are they trying to go for 4th and 1? They can't run the ball." Like I mean, Marissa does know ball, but I just want to emphasize like it was apparent to everyone that they were going to need to pass the ball to move the
Right.
ball. And how they were lined up was in a run formation that whole time. And then they obviously went the shotgun and did the sweep. And then like we completely blew it up. Like our Brian Haynes' defense, they were talking about this on the Cover 3 podcast last night. And I love you were talking about Brandon Walker and Josh Pate. I just love listening to anyone because right now they're glazing Indiana. Like it is
Yeah.
now, we have now shifted the narrative from, oh, like this is a great team. Signetti is doing an incredible job. That we have Matt Jones at Kentucky Sports Radio, who is like the biggest Kentucky guy in the world, tweeting out that this is not only the best college football story of all time, this is the best sports story of all time. Like what they're doing here. And I mean, we got Reese Davis asking Signetti what like about it, and Signetti's going, there would be one hell of a movie. Like, and it's not wrong. Like we're living in the greatest time in the world. And
Yeah.
this is what was recognizable the whole time. And to your point, Caitlin DeBoer got us to call a timeout. They ran out and they called a timeout. So not only did they didn't get it on 4th and 1, but they burned a timeout. Signetti was so in the heads of that guy and Alabama, and your canary in the coal mine comment is exactly right. It was pure domination. I'll admit, I was very relaxed before this game. I was. I
Yeah.
really did not
You
care.
were.
Like I can't
Credit
anyone
to
who
you.
said
Never
anyone
daunted.
said never daunted. Anyone who said anything to me, I was like, it's fine. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. Kickoff, pregame jitters. I was there, right? Like I was starting to get nervous, just because like any game, like I got nervous for the Wisconsin game, folks. Like this is just how it is. But then after that first drive, I could feel my heart in my chest, like, oh no, like 3 and out, quick, whatever. But mentally, I'm like, this team's still not that good. Our defense is really good. Brian Haynes and Shane, or we said it on the podcast. DeBoer and the team, they can script stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I kept looking at Marissa. I was like, hey, if they score early, this is all expected. Like, is not like we could get down, we could be rusty, whatever. Tim, after the first 2 drives from both teams, it was over. It was over. The momentum had swung.
I was the slightest bit daunted on the first drive because 2 sacks on the first 3 plays, not good.
Yeah.
It said to me, I was like, "Listen, we've been glazing Indiana the entire season because they are fantastic, and they're a really, really well-coached team. They play really sound football, blah, blah, blah. But there are some small minor weaknesses that when you get to this stage and you get to this level, the teams, the athletes can really exploit. And I've always we'll need to do more of a breakdown review when we are more of sound mind. But like
Yeah,
we were
we're by the
switching
way,
out
programming
the
note, we're gonna record on Sunday, so
yeah,
like,
this yeah,
subscribe,
this is
follow us on
just
all platforms, yeah.
this is just us, top of the head, but like we were switching around the right side of the offensive line. Like Johnny started this game, but then Benson was in, those
Thank
sacks
you.
come, and I'm like, man, what were we thinking we could do in this game? Like we needed to be a little bit smarter here. And I needed Fernando to realize that and play appropriately and get rid of the ball or do better at avoiding the pressure and not running backwards to take a sack. Like I was like, man, I needed this to go a little bit better. But ultimately, like they calmed their nerves a little bit. They figured some things out. Still have my fears about the right side of the offensive line, but like ultimately, like it's still an extremely well-rounded team that was like ready for the moment. My like takeaway, I had to like Google this here while you were talking there for a second, but after the game, and I'm not sure how much you saw because you were you were at the game, but the
We were
uh,
walking 2 miles out of the city of, to
outside
downtown
of the out
Pasadena.
of Roseville.
Yeah.
Um, but Holly Rowe was asking Curt Cignetti in sort of the post game interview, and I like Holly Rowe. I think she does a great job. Those like in game, post game sort of coach
Yeah.
sideline interviews are really really tough to do well. And she asked like a very normal question to say sort of like how was the team able to handle the pressure of the big stage? And Signetti, man, put this on the motherfucking statue. I want that as this quote at the bottom. And he said, "Why should the moment be too big? Because our name's Indiana?" Question mark. God, I fucking love this man so much. I
Yeah.
posted it yesterday on Twitter. I took a picture of the TV screen at the bar and I just put heart eye emojis all over it like I was a 14-year-old girl because this fucking guy gets everybody moving in the same direction. There is no opportunity for like consistent mistakes. There's no opportunity for a letdown. There's no opportunity for overlooking your opponent or anything else. Like this is the coach of our dreams. And I
Yep.
just hope, I mean, and I thank God that President Whitten, Scott Dolson all see that and they're giving this man extensions and keeping him around. But like we struck oil with Curt Cignetti,
Yep.
and it's fantastic. It's the best.
Yeah. Alright, looking at the game, Alabama, this is the stuff that we talked about. Alabama couldn't run the ball, still can't run the ball.
No,
Uh, they tried to blitz. I think I read that Mendoza was 8 for 8 for 150 plus
yeah,
yards and 3
mhm.
touchdowns or something against the blitz. Uh, so that didn't work. The man coverage didn't work. Um, we ran the ball on him, which you were talking about running the ball. In our section, we had this little kid. We found out he was from Chicago, and he was sitting to our right, and he kept yelling like, "Run the ball!" And I'm like, man, I was like, I love this kid. Like he was fantastic because he was right. Like they were running. Kalen Black got dinged up, or I don't know what they've said on the podcast or on the broadcast what it was, but I'm sure it was just like got his air knocked out from under him. He
Yeah.
comes back, he gets a touchdown. Roman Himby gets a touchdown. It was just we saw it all year. Tom Fernelli had one of the best tweets I saw. He's like, someone's like, Fernando Mendoza is still in the game, and Tom Fernelli's like, buddy, I know from experience, it doesn't get much better when the backups come in either. And Tom Fernelli, known Illinois fan, it is. It was one of those games that you could see it progress as it was going. And Alabama just got exhausted from trying to tackle our guys constantly and being tackled at every spot. So Ty Simpson was not benched. I thought he was obviously in the stadium.
No.
Um, also, like, supposedly he cracked his rib at halftime, and they let him play for, like, 2 or 3 series before they ended up pulling him, so
Yeah, it was a little fuzzy on the, like, well, but, like, D'Angelo Pons on his, like, like, the hit that he fumbled on, like,
yeah,
maybe that was it, but also and then they, like this felt like ESPN bias game at times because then they were like, "Well, look at this, like, warm-up throws, and look at his face turns, and he kinda grimaces, like, wow, he must really not be able to throw," like, they're trying to butter this up. I Either way, yes, like, Indiana put the pain to Ty Simpson. They had no chance, and this is what we said, right? Which is like, Alabama is an extremely one-dimensional team. They cannot
yeah.
run the ball. So when we were outlining like, oh, how does Indiana lose this game potentially? It was like they would need Ty Simpson to play the best game of his life. He would need to hit every pass. They would need to basically pass the ball right beforehand. I was on Twitter with Jamie Jordan right beforehand because Cuevas, their tight end, was like a game time decision because he was having back spasms. And I was like, that would be huge for Alabama because they needed to have like dump offs to the tight end just to get 3 or 4 yards at a time. But
Yeah.
ultimately, they couldn't do that. And that's what I thought would happen, which is like they would be in 3rd and 8 all game long. And that's what it was. And it was really, really hard for them to convert and move down the field.
Hill, their running back, was their leading reception. I think he had, like,
Yeah.
6 or 7
So,
catches
yeah,
for,
he had
like, 5 yards.
7 catches for 5 yards, which is great. Yeah.
I mean, I like, I just wanna take a moment. Those listening to the podcast, sorry, let Tim and I have a moment. We have gone up back-to-back weeks against Ohio State and Alabama fans on social media. Like,
Oh,
and we've been
man.
clipped, and big accounts, large accounts, way larger than us, have, like, clipped us for their content to, like, make fun of us and all this stuff. And the back-to-back weeks, we are playing 2 of the most traditional programs in the country. I know Tim does not believe Ohio State's on that list, but they are. But with 2 of the most traditional programs in the country, and we beat them. Alabama was probably more gratifying, right? Just because of the way that we beat them. Marissa turns to me and she goes, "This is the most, like," if Alabama fans heard her say this, it is so funny. She's like, "We came out all this way. I kinda wish we would have seen a little bit better game." I was like, "That's the most patronizing thing ever to
Yeah.
The Alabama fans," and she was not, like, trying to be that way. She's, like, legitimately like, "This is a blowout." Like, we're in the 4th quarter, it feels like we're playing, Indiana State. Like, this is really bad.
It was
Um,
Alabama's largest bowl loss in history.
yeah, that's so crazy. And
Easy.
so she says that, and I'm like, and she's right. And then I'm like, if it was any other team, like if we were playing Texas Tech or we were playing Oregon, I would have been like, oh man, this kind of like this is great. Obviously, fan, yeah, but like this is not an entertaining football game. But to do that against an SEC team in Alabama, I'm like, "Oh my god," and it did do that after a week of being told that we play cupcakes, Alabama's gonna 5 stars, they're gonna put their belt to our asses.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's a spiritual moment for me. I mean, it's insane.
It was great. It was really people wanted to clown us. You know, I had the one clip that was like, "This is good. This is a changing of the guard game." Whether you want to admit it or not, Alabama fans, like, we're the new hotness. This is the way you
Yep,
win. They're like, "No, no, no, people fucking chirping me about me saying that, recruit rankings aren't predictive of team success. And they're like, actually, if you look at the last 10 years, the recruiting rankings aren't predictive of the national champion. Yeah, no shit, dumbass. That was the old world. This is the new world where you know what we can do? We can pay players now. Like, duh. That's the whole fucking point. Like, and that's the thing. Recruits are ranked in an individual level. They're not ranked really in the aggregate. When you see 24/7 sports program rankings, and it's like they've got 330 quote points of like recruits because they have 25 stars and 13 4 stars and 6 3 whatever. That's just them like trying to guess like what is this collection ultimately worth? And what Curt Cignetti has proven is that like you don't need to build a college football winner that way.
Yeah.
Yes, is it hard to go in the transfer portal and sort of, get those things right? Sure. We've got Curt Cignetti, who's the best talent evaluator in college football. Sucks to be you guys, but we don't. So we can go do that.
Yep.
And now that we can pay players, we don't have to sell recruits on like, we have a really great like college bar scene. Like we've got tailgating fields that you can't go to because you got to play football for us. Like the recruiting pitch has totally changed now. And
Yeah.
so, yes, like Indiana players are not like individually athletically talented as much as Oregon players, some Alabama players, etc. Totally fine. You want to tell me Kenyon Sadiq is a better athlete than Riley Nowakowski? Sure. But you know what I know about Riley Nowakowski? That motherfucker is going to block. And that motherfucker is going to be in the zone, in the flat where he should be on the play that it needs to be.
Every
When Fernando calls a
time.
hot route, he's going to be where he needs to be. Like, that's what I know. And
Yeah.
that's what comes down to actually winning football games. Congratulations on the 5 stars. Congratulations on guys that'll still go get drafted above some of the Indiana guys. Like, cool. In the meantime, we're going to kick your fucking ass on the way to the national championship.
Yeah, we were like, that was a conversation we were having last night as we were driving back in the Uber is we were talking about and the transfer portal opened today, by the way. So you're gonna get a lot of transfer portal news. I suspect some
Yep.
couple of not
Some
high name
Indiana news?
quarterbacks that will probably be on campus this weekend is my suspicion. Just looking at what they did last year with for getting Fernando in right when it started, uh, and we might get an early commit or two from people that maybe people know about. So that's good news. But we were talking about that in the Uber about uh, Marissa was like, I think Signetti doesn't. I think he just picks the right guys, and
Yeah.
goes in question of like, will Indiana go after the 4 or 5 stars, or will they continue to just be selective? Sure, they would get a 5-star with the right makeup, and those type of things. But I don't know if Signetti will ever be in the top 5 or 10 recruiting, no matter where he was at, because it just seems like he will always be a guy that will look at tape and understand what it needs to build a roster and a team that wins. And it doesn't really matter what 24/7 or
Right.
rivals or on three say. He's going to pick his guys. And so Indiana's going to get more momentum with some big players, especially when we win the national championship this year. But like, will it translate to being one of the top 3 teams in the Big Ten? I still won't. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think we're a long ways away from that being the case. And we said it. This was probably like a month ago, I think, on an episode. I think that it might have been when the CBS 60 Minutes sort of thing came out on Signetti. But he said the only or he told it to Joel Klatt. It was a Joel Klatt quote before the Big Ten championship game. Now I'm remembering it correctly. He told Joel Klatt because Joel has appropriately identified Signetti as a great talent evaluator, and he said, "I don't trust anybody else's evaluation besides mine. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't need to go read 24/7. I don't need to go read blah blah blah. I don't even need to go read or hear that like, oh, look at all these other coaches are after player X. Do you want to be? Question mark." And he's like, "Don't care. Show me the tape. Show me what's
Yeah.
up. Like, let's do the character evaluation. Let's do the whole thing." So I agree with you. I think Indiana will naturally, because of their ascension, start getting more star-rated players to some degree, but we should not be worried about recruits or this or whatever. In Curt Cignetti, my Lord and Savior, I trust. I will follow you to the end of the earth, man.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit about coming to the Rose Bowl and Pasadena,
Yeah.
just in general. Now that we've had a few days out here, and those of you that followed me on Twitter and have seen a lot of the content that we've been doing. out here. It is really special. I understand why the Rose Bowl is protected on some level from college football uh, establishment because of the history. I'm a little worried. Like UCLA leaving the Rose Bowl, like what is that stadium going to do to financially like keep up and to do to be able to
Yeah.
keep hosting games out
Because
here?
it's bad, right? Like I that's the reviews that like it's kind of an old decrepit-ish
I mean,
looking whatever stadium, but like
I'm gonna be honest. I
as a
I was
stadium.
in a I was in a very nice
Yeah.
spot,
Oh
so
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
okay.
not like it was
You're the
not.
worst person.
I didn't get a good valuation of that.
Man, that Kirkwood and Dunn podcast money is doing great for you.
The
Like, oh,
person the person
we
that
booked a
the person that
premium
texted
box
us
suite.
the person that texted us, Tim, I think was sitting on a bench on the end zone sidelines like a poor like
Yeah.
so
Ugh.
little
Some of us didn't
peasant.
have to take a road trip for across 2 days to get out to the
Yeah.
stadium. Some
Yeah,
people got
that's
to
true. That's
fly
true.
all the way right in.
Yeah, the guy that texted us about the stadium being bad, he listens to this podcast, so I can't wait to hear his reaction to that. But yeah, there were reports of that. We did not. I would say the game day experience, we didn't get to evaluate it. It was awful. I have like one
Yeah.
pair of shoes here in Pasadena, and my shoes are so muddy. My jeans are muddy. Indiana Alumni Association, I feel so bad for them. They're getting they like people. We saw people yelling at workers and Indiana fans. We have segments of our fan base that I would punt out of our fan base so fast because they were so mean to our like IUAA people that I witnessed, and they wanted refunds. It's like, what what do you want for like
Yeah.
they had plenty of food, they had plenty of drinks, they had like all the stuff that you get from the tailgate. I felt so bad for it because
It sucks.
the we were on a golf course that didn't drain. I there's a picture online you can go see. It looks like they like built one wooden bridge across a river. Like we had like a moat that we had to cross,
Yeah.
just because it was so bad. We got super wet, all that stuff. We get in the game. Like I said, we got in a place where we were out of the elements early, and then our seats weren't in. They had an overhang, so it was dry. So we got to watch the game. But then the game, Indiana beat them so bad, we missed the sunset during the game. Like it was
Well,
like it was
and then
sucked.
and I didn't exactly realize this, but I had to Google it later on. But they this year they moved the Rose Bowl up an hour earlier. So
Yeah,
normally
TV.
it was
Yeah.
1 o'clock Eastern or 1 o'clock California time. It used to be 2 o'clock, which like for the fucking Sugar Bowl at night in the dome. Listen, like one of the absolute very best things about college football is the sun setting at the Rose Bowl and the game going from day to night, like during the game, right? It just
Yeah.
sort of accentuates like the bigness of the game and the importance of the game. Why the fuck did they move that up an hour? Like, let the Sugar Bowl go to goddamn midnight. Like,
Okay,
what are
well,
we doing?
I
I was
will
so upset about that. That they took from
Yeah,
Indiana the opportunity to have that game finish under the lights, finish with the
yeah.
sunset. Like that pissed me off so much.
So we stuck around after the game. We watched them bring out the stage. They only had to do that once at the Rose Bowl, unlike at the Sugar Bowl where they had to do it twice. Uh And we got to see them dump roses, and we were pretty far up from that. We didn't really get a lot of pictures of that. Fans, all the Indiana fans, like came to that side of the stadium and filled it up, and we're still chanting and doing all that stuff. It's always fun when you win and you get a ceremony after. Uh, and then we stood there, and unfortunately, again, just so many things that just got taken from us because this dumbass rain. Marching 100 didn't get to go on the
Yeah,
field pregame, didn't go at halftime. And so after the game, I don't know if this was always planned, but they went down on the field and they played songs and music.
great.
And so they were playing like Abba's Fernando and they were playing, um, you know, uh,
Right,
Oh,
so they
I
played
cannot.
Shout. They played
That
Shout,
yeah.
which people are like, "Oh my god, they're playing the Oregon song." Like, it's just Shout. Come on.
Well, yeah, they also played
They
Mr.
play Shout
Brightside during,
all
like,
the time.
the our time for Dixieland Delight, they played John Mellencamp and Brightside, Mr. Brightside, which I was kinda chuckling because 'cause I'm like, Michigan fans think they own that song, but it's just like it's a normal song. Has nothing to do with the University of Michigan, and also has way different connotations now at the University of Michigan,
Yep.
if you go read the lyrics to Mr. Brightside. But, Marissa got an amazing photo. They were playing the alma mater, the sun was setting. The stadium scoreboard was like flashy and like Indiana Rose Bowl champs, Rose Bowl champs. There's this video that she's got, like she goes all the way around the stadium. And that was like one of those moments that like you're like, I one, I can't believe we're here. And then two, I would come back here any opportunity that I got. It was probably for like 4 hours. This trip has been awesome. Outside
Yeah.
of those 4 hours, we've had moments of, like, good things, like, on New Year's Eve, we found a bar, and it was really fun, but other than that, the rain, how expensive it is, the trying to get out of the stadium, the shuttle, was miles long, we ended up trying to walk out and find an Uber, and 'cause Ubers can't come in. All of that was miserable, but I'd still probably do it again for that, like,
Yeah.
cool sunset moment, and that's
It's
the Rose
tough.
Bowl, and I hope
Yeah,
they never get
that
rid of it.
it's one of those things where it's like, man, even if Indiana had, like, lost this game or something else, I think most of the people that ponied up the cash for the flights out of Indy or wherever to get there would look back and go like, "Yeah, like, the hopefully Indiana's back in the Rose Bowl again next year." But, like, even if they are, it won't be like it was this year because this was, like,
Yeah.
the beginning of a brand new era, right? This was
Yep.
the time to go, and, like, do I have some regrets on it? Yeah, a lot. Like, uh, but also I did credit to me. I did go to the Big Ten championship game. That was awesome. Knowing that we had a 13-0 regular season, that we beat Ohio State. So, like,
Credit to
that
Tim for walking 3 miles from his
hey,
apartment to go to the Big Ten championship game.
that's neither here nor there. But listen, I credit to me, I did it. Some people didn't. Trent. Some people didn't go to that game.
Because I saved
Uh.
money to go to the Rose Bowl game.
But I hope, like, I hope the Indiana fans out there are, as much as they reasonably can. Not everybody has a certain financial situation, which I totally get, but, like, figuring out a way to get to the Peach Bowl and hopefully to the national title game. Um, because these things don't come around very often. And it's, we'll spend plenty of time in the offseason talking about the team and the roster, and we'll have transfer news here soon, whatever else.
Yeah.
But, like, this is not guaranteed. Even as much as God bless Curt Cignetti, it's college football. It's football. It's hard. These are one game, like,
Yeah.
one game appearances every time. So, soak it in. Soak it in while you can.
S&P Plus just put out their projections for the
Oh,
college football semifinal. They have Ole Miss winning by 2.9 against Miami, and Indiana by 3 over Oregon. Um,
wow.
so
I believe those
our
were the
title
gambling lines last night too when I looked.
and our title odds just went to 40%, up from 15%, which is pretty good. Uh, we will have plenty of time to talk about Oregon. Don't worry, we will have plenty
Yep.
of time for coming for you, Duck fans. Um, we will record on Sunday morning like we normally do, our normal longer episode. But we wanted to get this out. Thank you for all the likes, subscribes. Please do that on Instagram, TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe below and keep following us on Twitter, as that's been a lot of fun. Um, it's been a celebration. Hopefully, you caught our energy during this podcast. It's been great. The my last night I turned to Marissa and I said, she should just come on the podcast. And I've used her reference so many times into this, but I turned to her and said, one of my favorite things about all of our trash talking for the last couple weeks is after the game, the number of Kirkwood and Dunn listeners, followers on our social media come back to the accounts, and we don't even have to say anything, but they just like will be like, "What did
Yeah.
you say? Like, you want to see this again?" And that's been really, really cool. And Marissa goes, Yeah, I see Tim doing that a bunch, and she, like, shows me, like, Tim's just, like, personal account just, responding to people, which is
Oh, man,
fantastic.
I got home after the game from the bar, and I found one, and I wanted to make, like, a generic sort of
Yeah.
response, and I hit, "Any more thoughts?" Question mark, and I hit copy, and then I would go through all of my notifications, and I would just hit paste on every single one to
Yeah,
get all these Alabama fans back. It was the
yeah.
best. I love talking trash on the internet.
It's a good time. That's what college football is all about, and we're actually at a big boy table that we get to do it with some very engaged fan bases. Like, there's nothing like chirping Maryland fans, and then they just don't reply. So, yeah. So, Tim, it's been fun. Tim and I, right now, all plans, all signs are pointing for us going to the Peach Bowl. So we will be there together. We're very excited about that. Got to keep the good times rolling. And we'll figure out our programming schedule based off of that schedule itself. So Hoosiers, Rose Bowl champs, Big Ten champions, undefeated. We keep adding to the accolades. Let's go win us a Peach Bowl, and eventually, let's go win a national title.